Hey everybody, it's Mike. I'm back, and gee, I hope the sound is better. I don't know. I think it's sounding better. I'm still not. Studio's still not up and running yet. I'm still kind of freestyling it here, kind of winging it. But let's see. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Hare Krishna. Let's get right into it. I'm going to talk about more scammer gurus, another scammer guru. I'm going to talk about the festival that's going on and some other things. So let me get right to the intro here.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, okay, I'm back. All right, so I want to get into it with this guru, another one of these scammer gurus, Indra Yumna Swami, and I've talked to him about him. I've talked about him before in a video of him where he was touching on these little girls, this little girl and other little girls, while the mom and these other women were just watching, and it was really disgusting. Anyway, that's on another video that I did, but I wanted to show how this festival that's going on. We have a video here of the India Festival of India, and I think it's in. I'm not sure where it's going on, but it's somewhere in Eastern Europe, I believe, maybe Hungary or Russia or Ukraine or somewhere in that area of the world. And let's see what's. We'll watch a little bit, and then I'll comment on what's going on. So let's take a look.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
So that's him right there.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sama Krishna, Sama Krishna.
This one with the hat there with his arms out.
Krishna. When will that day come? When will that day come? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Poland, maybe this is in Poland. Festival, indeed. So, let me get back. Okay, there I am. So as you can see, it looks like a books. It's where they preach all their philosophy and try to get new members, people to join and buy a book and buy many books. That's the only reason they put on this festival, and it travels all around the world, and it's just for making new cult members and getting people to come into the cult. It's just a big recruitment festival and trying to just flood the zone with as many books and as many preaching opportunities to reach as many people as they can, like casting a big net and hoping they can get as many people as they can. And that's all it is. It has nothing to do with India. You don't learn anything about India. You don't learn anything about the history of India. You don't learn about the culture of India. I mean, just the little bit that the Hare Krishnas have hijacked to use as a means for their cult. Otherwise, they don't care about any of that. They don't care about any of that India stuff, like the dancing and the history and all that. All they care about is their cult and Prabhupada's books and glorifying Prabhupada and chanting his name and selling his books and just getting his face and tentacles everywhere. That's all it is. And what does he represent, and what is in his books? Child marriage. Women are less intelligent. Women like to be raped. Women are 9 times lustier than men. There's 3 things you can beat: a drum, a dog, and a woman. Now, that's pretty harsh to say that you can beat a woman and a drum. But to say you can beat a dog too, I mean, come on, the dog, what did the dog do? But anyway, a dog, a woman, and a drum are 3 things you can beat. And they're teaching this to little girls and women, that women have small brains and that they need to be subservient to men. And they should get married between the ages of 11 and 16 is when little girls should get married to grown men. This is what's in their books. This is what they're promoting. This is what they're using this festival for, to get these books into people's hands. And when you read just the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, that's where Prabhupada says that there's a problem with society, and the solution to the problem of society is in his books. And his books contain all the information to fix everything about society, which includes what we eat, what we do, when little girls get married, to who, how many little girls a man can have, how many wives he can have, because probably he can have more than one wife, and he can have them at 11. So how many little 11-year-old girls can a grown man have, according to Prabhupada? This is the guy who denied the Holocaust. He said that Hitler just killed a few thousand Jews that were in jail. And so Prabhupada's either lying, or he's in denial about the Holocaust, or he doesn't want to believe it, or he doesn't want to something. He said Hitler was a gentleman. He was a gentleman, and he didn't use the atomic bomb, and that the Americans were the bad guys in the war, and Churchill was all this crazy stuff. All this stuff put together. The child marriage, the Hitler stuff, the women have small brains stuff and like to be raped stuff. Blacks are ugly and should have stayed in the jungles and never come out of the jungles. What about that? You put all this stuff together. Let's put it all together in one big stinky pile, and that's what it is. And all this stuff is found in Prabhupada's books. And then you have Prabhupada himself saying, I was 22, my wife was 11, and I was 22. Prabhupada himself saying it. You can hear him say it. You can go to their webpage and you can Hare Krishna Vedabase.com and you can play Prabhupada says you Prabhupada says you they wouldn't believe that they would. You couldn't convince them that that's what's in there. You'd have to show them every single quote. I would have a shit ton of books with all kinds of crap in it. So, this is what they're selling. This is what they're promoting. This is what they're doing at these festivals, and they see all these people at these. You see all these people at these festivals where they're these people don't even know. I don't know, my computer messing up again. Let's see if I get it again. There we go.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Sama Krishna, Sama Krishna, Sama Krishna. Sama Krishna, oh, Sama Krishna, oh, Sama Krishna, oh, Sama Krishna, oh, Sama Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
So yeah, they want you to think it's the festival of India, but it's really just a festival of Hare Krishna. It's really just a big Hare Krishna recruitment event festival, and the whole purpose for it existing is to make new members and to spread their dangerous, disgusting books. And they are dangerous. I mean, look at how these people think. Where they're upset that I make these videos and want to say, oh, he's making a mockery of Krishna and not making a mockery of Prabhupada and making a mockery of ISKCON. Yeah, I am. You guys are in a cult. He already says that they already know that if you say, okay, let me read this. What he says here. He says here, some joker wrote to me to say this happens because I am giving ISKCON a bad name. He says, I did not give ISKCON anything. The leaders created all this and then banned, beat, sued, and killed us. Well, I don't know how he says they killed us when he's writing this. Obviously, he didn't get killed. But he's saying they sued and killed us, so we had to go public because going to them in private has ended badly for other dissenters. So even the guy that writes this webpage, who's Hare Krishna, in the Hare Krishna, he admits that ISKCON, Hare Krishnas, will ban, beat, sue, and kill people. Because he says that they tried to kill him, and they tried to sue him, and they tried to beat him, and they tried to ban him, and people just like him, that the leaders of ISKCON did all of that. He's saying that. He's saying the same thing I'm saying. He says the same thing. He agrees with me. He says the same thing I'm saying. He says he's saying these are dangerous people. And this is what they do. And this is what they did to him. But now he says, I'm a dangerous person. Now he says, I'm offensive. And I'm making a mockery. Basically repeats the exact same thing that I've been saying in the last 3 or 4 videos. He says, he's the guy that runs this webpage. He says, meanwhile, someone else said the GBC is making ISKCON look rotten on purpose because they despise Krishna and they want him to look bad. And people like Trivikram are prime examples. He makes the society look bad, and then he does not follow GBC restrictions because he never believed in the GBC. He made pretend he was with the GBC to get a post, and when questioned, most of the other GBC's gurus also go rogue and dump the GBC. It is a scam, folks. Okay, it sounds like he watched my video where I said that Trivikram was a scammer, and then he went rogue. I used that exact word, rogue. And I said he was a scammer, and I said, you can't fire, that he said, you can't fire me, I quit. That he does not follow the GBC restrictions, that he won't even do what they say. It's like he watched my video. He's saying the exact same thing I said in my video. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about insanity, the insanity of these people. He agrees with everything I'm saying, except that Prabhupada created these guys, that it's Prabhupada's responsibility. Prabhupada was also a child molester. Prabhupada was also 22 when he had sex with his 11-year-old wife. Prabhupada said women have small brains. He said all this other stuff, all this stuff that Prabhupada said. I don't have to make that up. He's just upset that I'm just tying it all together in one big fucking package. It's not separate issues. It's not Prabhupada and then the other, and then no, it's Prabhupada created this shit. He created these guys. He created these gurus. He created these books. He created all of it. It's all his fault. It looks like these ISKCON people are watching. I hope my brother is watching too. Yeah, I did a video about Devamrita Swami where I showed his video and I talked about it because maybe your brother's watching. Maybe your brother's watching. Or maybe somebody your brother knows saw it. Because I'm sure I mean, obviously they're watching now because this guy just practically repeated everything I said in 2 videos ago. Practically verbatim. To say that these guys go rogue is exactly what I said. It's on my thumbnail. Hope everything's going well on my end, by the way. Oh yeah, everything's going great for me. Everything's wonderful. These people are whacked. They're whack heads. They're whack heads. They're just insane. They're just well, and that's what makes them dangerous, is that they're so crazy and mentally ill that they could do something crazy because they're crazy. And that's what am I going to do? But it's important that people understand the mental illness and see, how does this guy stay in the cult when he knows all this shit and he's repeating the same shit I'm saying? These gurus are a scam. These gurus are bogus, that they leave. He doesn't want to follow. ISKCON looks bad. I'm not making ISKCON look bad. I'm just going, look, this is what they do. I don't have to make this stuff up. I don't have to make it up. I don't have to exaggerate. I don't have to lie. I don't have to do any of that. It's all right there. It's all right there. In fact, this guy, I'm getting my information from this guy. The easiest way to get information is from this guy because he's got it all. That's why he's crazy. How do you know all this shit's been going on for 40 fucking years? 40 fucking years he's been doing this. He was doing it on a typewriter before the internet. Doing it on the internet, making copies and then mailing this shit out to people. The same shit he's doing now. And he's just been doing this like he's like a encyclopedia of this crap. I found out a fraction of this shit and I said, man, what the fuck is this bullshit? And I laughed. I was going, fuck this. I already spent 20 years in. It's not like I left the day, it's not like I found out shit after 4 days. No, it was 20 years. It was 20 years of putting all this shit together. That's why they don't like it when I put all this shit together, because I just cut to the chase. Just take all the bad shit that's in the books, all the crap about black people in the jungles and racism and civil rights was a failure and black people are drunkards, and if you build a library, they'll just go for drinking and not reading, and it's just make a list of all the shit and then go women, all the shit he says about women. Make a list of all the gurus that he made and how each one fucked up and what they did wrong. And all the people that weren't gurus that fucked up and did something wrong. And all this, all his failures, all the things that he did that he fucked up. And you look at this thing and you just and then look at what he's saying about women and what happened with the little kid, and you put it all together. Paint a picture. Don't look at individual things. See the big picture. And how he was a freaking doomsday. The Armageddon's gonna come and the nuclear wars are gonna happen. He's talked about that all the time. And after that happens, then it's going to be 10,000 years of golden age, Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, and we're going to have farms because the world's going to be wiped out, and only we're going to have the Hare Krishna's farms. We're going to have these farms where Hare Krishnas can go live and chant. It's friggin' insane. That's really what Prabhupada thought. The world was going to end. It was going to be like Mad Max, and there was going to be some Hare Krishna with a farm somewhere, and all these Mad Max people were going to come and somehow become Hare Krishnas and live in this wonderful, happy. And this is what they believe. They believe that, just like they believe the demon head is going to eat the moon and Krishna's playing a flute. That's why they said, I'm making a mockery of Krishna, because I say there's no Krishna playing a flute, and the sound of the flute goes into the ear of a four-headed guy who's growing on a lotus flower that grows out of the stomach of a four-armed guy that's laying on a snake that's his brother. And he's floating on an ocean of milk or perspiration of his own sweat. That's in their books. That's in their books. I'm not making that up. I mean, that sounds wacky just hearing me say it, because when I say it, it sounds wacky. But that's what the fuck they believe. And they don't like it when I say it like that. Because then they go, well, shit, that is what we believe. They want to say it a different way. Oh, Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, in his golden slumber, in his transcendental slumber, reclines on the coils of Naga Sesha, Sesha Naga, or whatever, Sesha Nag. And he lies down on the ocean of milk, or the whatever, Kasira Dakshai Vishnu, or Mahavishnu, whatever it is, Mahavishnu. And they want to make it sound all fairy tale and all whatever. But basically, that's what they're saying. If Krishna plays a flute, the sound goes out of the flute. It enters Lord Brahma's ear, who has 4 heads, and he grows on the stem. He grows on a lotus flower. It grows out of the navel of Lord Vishnu, who is laying on a snake. That's his brother, Balaram, but it's Nagasesha, Sesha Nag. And universes are coming out of his body, all these, and he's just in this mystic slumber state. And this is what they believe. And these people that believe this wacky stuff and are gonna make demands of people like we can talk we can talk about that. We can explain it, but if you don't explain it the way we want it explained, and you explain it the way you want to explain it, it sounds funny and goofy, and it's embarrassing. So we don't like that. We're saying that Prabhupada was 22 and his wife was 11. Well, I'm not saying that. Prabhupada says it. Prabhupada says it. That's not me saying it. That's Prabhupada saying it. But they don't want me to say that. And then, but if I do say it and people do question it, then they're just going to say, well, they're going to defend it. They're going to defend it. Even though it makes them mad and they want to say that I'm the offender, they're still going to defend what Prabhupada says. That's the mental illness. That's the mental illness of these people. The mental illness of these people that say that where he says, I did not give ISKCON anything. The leaders created all this and then banned, beat, sued, and killed us. So we had to go public. Well, I'm going public. My daughter was molested by these freaks. And I'm warning people. I'm warning the public. You go hang out with these people. You don't know what's going to happen. They're fucking they're crazy. They're mentally ill. I got to go public too. I'm no different than this guy. Just that I include Prabhupada as a scammer guru, and that's where he draws the line. He draws the line and says no. Everybody else is a scammer guru, but not Prabhupada. Well, Prabhupada created these scammer gurus. He created the organization where they thrive. He taught them how to be scammer gurus. He wrote the book on how to be a scammer guru. In fact, he wrote a whole friggin' set of books on that they use to scam and brainwash people. Prabhupada created the whole mechanism so that these guys could become gurus and cheat everybody they come in contact with. Prabhupada created it. He taught them how to talk, taught them how to walk. He taught them how to eat. He taught them how to shit and wipe their ass. He taught them everything. And then they're going to sit there and go, well, no, they're doing exactly what Prabhupada said to do. They're doing everything they saw Prabhupada do. They're cheating everybody just the same exact way Prabhupada cheated them. It's all just a big scam. And this guy knows it too. He says, what legitimate spiritual organization or religious organization, if you want to, bans, beats, sues, and kills people? That's a friggin' mafia. That's a criminal organization. It's a criminal organization, not a spiritual religious organization. Religious organizations don't ban, beat, sue, and kill people. The Sopranos do that. The Corleones do that. This is a criminal organization. Masquerading and cosplaying as a bunch of stupid ass fucking monks. Just like they got your brother cosplaying and they got him convinced. They've got him convinced that he's a 16th century Bengali, transgendered Bengali. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this guy, come on, man. He was, I can see this goddamn code will be finished soon. Just wait and see. They will lay the law on them. Permanent running monk ashram in India under Narayana Maharaj, causing harm to humans. Yeah, these guys. Prabhupada taught these guys, like, it's not, they're not ordinary just monks, like I was saying, like sannyasis or whatever that you see in India that are just like, this is a fake, bogus institution. This Gaudiya Math and this ISKCON with their guru. It's a friggin' guru factory of pedophiles and abusers, and just, it takes normal people like me, normal people like you. We were normal. We walked in. We were happy. We were just normal people in life. We had our ups and downs. Life is ups and downs. Life, we had our ups and downs. Everybody does. Everybody in the world has. Everybody breaks up with someone. Everybody falls in love with someone, or hopefully falls in love with someone. Everybody has issues in life. Everybody gets fired, or everybody needs a job, or everybody quit their job, or everybody had a breakup, or everybody, has problems. Everybody has issues, a death in the family. Everybody has a death. Everybody has a pet that dies, or everybody has a family member that dies, or a friend that dies, or a teacher that, everybody has something at some time going on in their life. It's just ups and downs. So people come in contact, people go, oh, well, I was at a low point of my life. Well, yeah, but everybody has a low points. Not everybody joins cults. But these cults, they thrive on normal people joining the cult, and then they twist their everything, their identity, their beliefs, their values, their philosophy. They totally break people down and recreate them in the person that they want, with the shaved head and wearing the robe and with the tilak and chanting the mantras and saying the prayers and getting up when they say they should get up, and then eating when they eat, eating when they say they should eat, and eating what they say they should eat, and reading what they say they should read, and not reading other things, and not talking to other people that are not devotees, and all of those things. We didn't get into it for that. We didn't join for that. We joined because we thought it was fun and it was interesting, and there was something about it. There's either through just having a good time at the temple, or reading the books and finding something interesting in it, something that caught our attention in one way or another, just like how anything else in life can catch our attention. Two people can go somewhere, and they're just, one person likes it because it was quiet, and the other person says, oh, I liked it because it was noisy, because they both got something different out of it. but they both enjoyed it. So you can go and enjoy so many different things, uh, uh, and it's attractive on many different levels. That's part of why they have these festivals. Get all those people that come because they see the pretty colors and the fabrics and all the stuff and the incense and the food and the music and the dancing and the chanting, and they're like, wow, what is all this? And then after the brainwashing sets in, you become a mental patient. And it's like that with all cults. Scientology, it doesn't matter. Someone takes a personality test, someone gets an Awake magazine or one of those little cartoon books that they give away that you find in the laundromat or something that talks about. I always thought those were funny. I collected those for a while. Those are really interesting. Like the guy has a bad life, and then he dies and he goes to hell or something, and then they at the end, and it was like these little preaching cartoon books that told a story. Usually they weren't very happy stories. They weren't very happy stories. There's a Russian lady writing a book on why she left the movie. Well, that's good. I'd like to read that and find out about the whole Russian experience, because that was really starting to explode when I was in the Hare Krishnas, and then I left. So I don't really know what's been going on with the whole Russian preaching and Eastern European preaching. I mean, I know Indra Yumna Swami, that I'm going to show in a minute, is preaching over there, but I don't know like anything else about all the Russian preaching. That's your argument against the group is incredibly solid. Just list the things that Prabhupada said and ask these people, do you agree with this? Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. And that's what people can do, and people can do that. People can go into a temple, and on a Sunday feast, and just innocently ask a question, because they have a lecture and then they have questions, and someone can say, raise their hand and say, I read in your book that women have small brains, and that your guru guy, that guru guy says that women have small brains. Do you really believe that? Is that something that I'm supposed to believe, or is that just like, what's up with that? Because obviously, women are intelligence is not measured by the size of the brain. The size has nothing to do with it. So, and ask them, see what they say, because they have to defend it in some way. They have to. They have to say, women have small brains. It's in the book, and if it's in the book, then that's what it says. And then they'll lie. And then if you catch it, if they start lying, and you just go, well, it says here on page whatever. That's not what this says in the book. What you're saying is not what's in the book. And that's why, but nobody does that. No one's going to do that. No one's going to do that. I wondered whether I should ask my brother the same thing. Well, I think I think you should, at some point. I think you should, because at some point you should, because if he's a grown man and he's making this decision, and he's already cut you guys off. I mean, there's a chance he could come back one day, but he could come back after you say this, and maybe saying that is what's going to make him come back. Who knows? But he's already gone. And when I mean gone, I mean gone. What they call this is what they call it. They call it fixed up. When you're fixed up, that means you've shaved your head, you got the ponytail, you're wearing the dhoti, you got the T-lock and the beads. You're fixed up. You're fixed. You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. I was fixed up. I was fixed. I wasn't going anywhere. But I did when they told me that Prabhupada. See, that's why they tried to threaten me to keep me to stay, because they thought I would never leave. Where he's gonna go? In fact, even after I left, they told my roommate, these guys, because my apartment was still run by Yashoda, so I bounced out. That's why I had to get out of there. That's why I had to get out of there. It was their apartment. It wasn't safe for me to be there. But they told my roommate after I left that, well, let's give him some time. He'll come back. He'll come to his senses and come back. Because they didn't believe that I would just leave. I was fixed up. I was fixed up. Fixed up means you're not leaving. But I wasn't fixed up. I mean, I was, but I wasn't. I was like, I'm not down with this child molestation stuff and this 11-year-old wife stuff. I'm not down with that. And then that's when it caused problems, because it was here. I'm gonna bounce out with all this information that I have. Oh well. So they tried to keep me to stay. They tried to, because they figured I wasn't going anywhere. So they tried to threaten me to keep my mouth shut. And I was like, what's going on here? I was like, what's going on here? Like, you guys really do threaten people. You guys really do threaten people. But I feel that it probably wouldn't end well. It already hasn't ended well. He's already gone and under the spell of this Devamrita guy. He's already driving around with Bonnie and Clyde. He's already in the car with Bonnie and Clyde. So he's in the car with Bonnie and Clyde, riding around with a machine gun, riding around with Bonnie and Clyde. He's gone. He's already gone. He's gone already. You got to say, hey, why are you in the car with Bonnie and Clyde? Like, you can't fool me anymore. I know that. It's like, no, that's not Bonnie and Clyde. That's not Bonnie and Clyde. That's that's John and Sally. You're like, no, that's Bonnie and Clyde. I can see that's Bonnie and that's Clyde. No, it's not. It's John and Sally. That's John, and you're like, no, dude. It's Bonnie and Clyde. He's shot like 15 people. She's shot like 8. They've robbed a bunch of banks. I already know. And you're riding around with them. Why are you riding around with them? And then he goes, yeah, you're right. He says either you're right, or he goes, I'm riding around with Bonnie and Clyde. I'm already fixed up with Bonnie and Clyde. So you say it wouldn't end well, but it's over. He's gone. He's gone. You're lucky, like you said, you're lucky that he contacts you. You said he's deeper than ever before. And I told you from the very beginning, it sounds like he's gone. And you were like, yeah, he's gone. He's in India milking a cow. So I said from the beginning that it didn't sound good at all. So at some point, though, I'm not trying to push you into it. I'm just being real with you. I'm just being real. Like, he's so deep in it now, he can't get any deeper. I mean, unless he becomes a guru, which he could, but it would probably be a few years before he becomes a guru. They sell you a story that sounds too good to be true to reel you in, just to find out it's all a hoax to destroy you as a human. Yeah, it's really, man, when you find out that it's all fake and bogus and phony, no matter which way you find out, whether you just have a self-realization that this isn't real, this bogus, or your guru falls down, or like me, you put all the dots together and you go, hey, man, this is child marriage and Prabhupada's doing snuff. Guys getting shot in the head. Gurus are running a prostitution ring where they're sending women out to have sex. Instead of selling books, it's just and the guy getting his head cut. I mean, it's an overload. It's an overload, and crying the kids and all the kids that were molested and everything. It's an overload. You find out all this stuff, but people stay. People stay. People stay. Dirtbag Dave. People usually stayed silent or they made an ass-kissing comment during the question and answer portion of the sermon. Yeah, people don't usually stand up and say anything. I mean, it would have to be, maybe if people were in a group or something, then maybe people have more guts when they're in a group. But if you're actually sincerely going there to, like, you're into it, you're not going to go, hey, I read a thing about how blacks are this, or, but if you were like, I wouldn't do it because I'm not welcome there. They'd gang up on me and beat the shit out of me because that's how they are. I wouldn't go anywhere near a Hare Krishna temple. Maybe not the ones where they know me. I'll go to a temple where I would go, if I had to, I would go to a temple where they don't know me. I've been to the one in Vrindavan, but I don't know if I'd go there now. I've been to the one in Vrindavan, and they don't, because they don't know me there. But I only went there because I was visiting a friend of mine who lives in Vrindavan. And so we just went by there, kind of like, oh, look, there's the temple, and there it is. But I wouldn't go there to hang out. There's no way would I go. There's no way I would go to hang out at a Hare Krishna temple. What to speak of stand up and say something like, hey, I read in Prabhupada's books that it's okay to beat women. Is that, I don't do that. No. That's like, I'd rather go to a Raider game dressed as rather go to a Raider game dressed as a Dallas Cowboy, wearing a Dallas Cowboy jersey, going to a Raider game and telling the Raiders to fuck off or something. I'd rather do that than go to a Hare Krishna temple and make a scene. A couple of times they did give condescending answers to questions they weren't expecting. Yeah, like Prabhupada with the newspaper reporter who was asking him questions, and he didn't like it. She's asking him about, I saw you driving around. They were driving you around in a limousine. What's up with the limousine, kind of? And he was like, oh, you're just envious, and you're envious because you're a woman, and women have small brains, and blah, blah, blah. And went on and ridiculed her and embarrassed her and he tried to embarrass her and ridicule her. He did a pretty good job of it. Every time she asked him about your disciples told me that the demigods come and watch and participate and that you can see them. You can see beings from other planets. Is that true? And he didn't like that. And he started talking, well, you're just envious and you think that, you're a woman and you have a small brain, whatever he said. And it was, and I remember when I was a Hare Krishna and I watched it, I was like, oh, look at Prabhupada's really ripping her a new a-hole. She thinks she's so smart attacking Prabhupada. Look at him. He's gonna rip her a new one. But now when I watch it, now that I'm not a Hare Krishna and I watch it and I go, oh man, Prabhupada's such a dick. Like he couldn't even just be nice and say, in the spiritual realm, when I'm in I'm in transcendental bliss, yes, I can see that I can see the demigod. I don't. Be honest. I lied, and I don't see anybody, and I lied. I don't know. I don't know. But you don't attack the woman. I mean, he could have said a lot of things, but he didn't have to attack her and make her, uncomfortable or talk shit like that. They always give condescending answers when people question them, as if they are not intelligent enough to understand the nonsense they feed you. Yeah, because they don't understand. They don't understand. You don't. So they're explaining something, and you don't understand what they're saying, and you ask a question, and they're like, "Oh shit, I don't know. I'm making it up as I'm going along." They read a verse, and then Prabhupada explains something about something, and then he explains something, and then he gives an example by telling a story about how the swan can separate milk from and water. The swan can suck up the milk out of the water and not drink the water and just the milk. And here we go. Ooh, wow, that's really cool. And then the guy's got to sit there and lecture based on that. And go, well, what Prabhupada is saying is, the swan, and I remember when I was, and then they tell a story that somehow is supposed to, that's what these guys do. And then if you ask, and then it makes like, who knows what they're saying. And then you ask a question that, then they, I don't know. They just bullshit. It's just more bullshit. Piled on more bullshit, piled on more bullshit. They brainwash you to think you need to sacrifice your life for the greater good of your soul. Yeah, sacrifice your life now, so that after you die, you're set, and that makes no sense. But not only that, but it's all the other crap. I mean, if there was a deal where, like, okay, if you do this and you do that, and then you're going to have everlasting life and happiness, and we can show you, and it sounds like it's okay. Maybe but Hare Krishna, you want me to do too much bullshit to make that deal? That deal doesn't sound right to me. Sounds like the definition of a death cult. It is a death cult. It absolutely is, because Prabhupada states in his books that there's going to be an Armageddon. There's going to be an end of the world. There's going to be a third world war. He says the bombs are going to drop and the world's going to go to war, and it's going to be nuclear devastation. He says it. He says the cities are going to be unlivable. People will be eating each other. He says Kali Yuga is going to advance, and as Kali Yuga advances, there's not going to be food. There's not going to be livestock or grains to make food, and people are going to start eating each other. It's going to be like Mad Max. This is exactly what Prabhupada says. It's going to be, it's going to be hell. It's going to be hell, and it's going to be crazy. But the Hare Krishnas are going to take advantage of that, and they're going to flourish. And people are going to come to the Hare Krishnas because that's going to be where everything's great. Otherwise, everything is, and it's insanity. It's really insanity. Could you imagine Hare Krishnas in Mad Max, and they're driving around, and they're trying to get the tank or whatever, and all of a sudden you see a bunch of Hare Krishnas dancing around in the desert in the middle of Mad Max, in the Mad Max movie, and they're like, "Hey, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna," and then they all stop, and they're like, "Hey, look. Hey, look, it's the Hare Krishnas. Yeah, let's get them, humongous. Let's go get them." And then they go to get them, and then the Hare Krishnas are like, no, chant, take a book. And then they convert all these Mad Max people, the humongous and the guy that throws the thing, and the other guy, and they convert all those guys into Hare Krishnas. Now that's a Mad Max I'd go see. That's what Prabhupada thinks is going to happen. If you read Prabhupada's books, that's pretty much what he thinks is going to happen. I know young men who are giving up their life to be serving their guru in India. If any of these men choose to leave, they think they will. Their lives are ruined for good. That's how deep it is. Yes, so that's part of the brainwashing, and I swear, 9 out of 10 Hare Krishnas will tell you, man, if I didn't meet the Hare Krishnas and join the Hare Krishnas, I'd be dead. I would have OD'd, or I would have done this, or I would have robbed a bank, or I would have. It's like, I swear they all have this idea like, oh, I was doing so many, I was, I was, I was having sex with so many women, and I was going to Vegas every weekend, and I was just drinking, I was at the bar, and I was shooting heroin, and I was, and I was scamming people, doing credit card fraud, and all this, and then I met the devotees, and I gave it all up, and I just became this great holy man, and that's what they think, and then they think like if I stop being a Hare Krishna, I'm gonna go right back to being Bonnie and Clyde. I'm gonna go right back to robbing banks and prostitution and shooting heroin and stealing car. I'm gonna be like the public enemy #1. I'm gonna be the FBI's most wanted. If it wasn't for Hare Krishnas, if it wasn't for Hare Krishnas, I'd be El Chapo. These people are delusional. I mean, I used to think that too, in a way. Like, wow, I'm so glad I joined the Hare Krishnas because I was doing so many crazy things back. What was I doing? Maybe doing some coke here and there, going to concerts, going to music festivals. What was I doing in my 30s? Trying to get laid, getting a date, being a single father. But they got me convinced that, like, oh, all of that is such horrible stuff. It's so material world. It's sense enjoyment. And you're breaking the regular principles. Like going to Vegas is well, gambling. You can't gamble, and you can't smoke a joint. Of course, or can't smoke a joint or go to the bar or have a drink at a concert or anything, because then that's you're getting intoxicated, so you can't do that. And eating a hamburger, that's bad. You can't eat a hamburger. You can't go to a Dodger game and have a Dodger dog or a hamburger or a taco or something, because then you're wasting time watching sports and you're eating meat, and that's wrong. And then you can't go date a girl or go to a club and pick up a girl to try to have sex with someone or meet a girl, because then that's illicit sex. So you're breaking all the regular principles, and that's a hellish life. And then they just want to exaggerate it and go, yeah, if I hadn't met Prabhupada, man, I would have been in a crack house with 3 or 4 hookers, and then I would have went and I would have like stole a stereo out of in Stereo City or whatever, and then Grand Theft Auto a car and gone on a wild chase. I mean, come on. Give me a break. Give me a fucking break. How do I find that interview on YouTube? Was it in Australia? Which interview? Oh, the one, the interview is with this woman named Nixon, and it's Prabhupada being interviewed, and I think she's from Philadelphia Inquirer. Let me see. Her name was Nixon, and it was it's an interview. Let's see. It's a room conversation with Sandy Nixon. Here it is, right here. I found it for you. Here, I'll send you. I'll post the link, and you can actually listen to the conversation. And there's also a video on YouTube somewhere. I'm sure you can find it. But let me send you the link, and you can look at it on. There you go. So let's see. I guess you would blow Prabhupada's mind if you told him that water is an integral component of milk. You know, that's interesting. See, nobody brought that up, but it's in his books as well. In fact, with this Veda base, you click on that link, it'll take you to the Veda base. You can actually look that up. You can just type in swan drinking milk or drinking water. Swans drink milk, water mixed with milk, and you know, Prabhupada tells that story, explains that in many places in his books. That's like that story is repeated many times. How the swan can take. Basically, what he's saying is, you can find good stuff in bad places, or you can separate the good from just the ordinary or whatever. In the same way that the swan can take the milk from the water. If you pour milk in water and it mixes with the milk, then the swan can drink the milk and not the water. That's Prabhupada's. That's what Prabhupada says. So, were you able to find the link? I got the link there. I gave it to you, but I hope you were able to find it. You can actually, I'll show you where it is here. Look, this is it here. And you can actually go ahead and just listen. You can click on it and listen to.
Here, they're both doing extensive articles for different magazines on Krishna Consciousness. They've already done a lot of preliminary study, from what I understand. So they have a few questions to ask. I think they'll write very respectful articles. So this is the girl that interviewed you at the airport.
This is Ann Josh. With the Philadelphia Inquirer.
And this girl's name is
Sandy Nixon.
Sandy Nixon.
She's a devotee, she was chanting.
So, who would like to go first? Sandy, are you ready to start with your question?
I think so. I just want to see if the slides go. Is that all right?
Well, it is. It's a long conversation. It's a long interview, and she asks some very basic questions about Krishna consciousness and chanting and whatever. But then she does get into. I'm not sure who it is, if it's her or the other woman, that asks him some questions, and he gets a little testy, and his disciples are a little chauvinistic as well. Start calling her small brained and things like that, and it's not very nice, especially when you think of it in the context of he's a spiritual leader. He's supposed to be this guru, and these disciples. And when you look at it that way, and you hear how they're talking to her and how they're talking to each other, and they're kind of ridiculing her in a way, they're talking down to her, condescending. I'm kind of embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that they treated her that way. But who these people are. That's who these people are. And if you read a lot of these conversations, if you go through and you see some of these conversations, you'll see it's the same pattern and the same behavior. Very condescending and rude, and it's just not a very nice thing. Now, I do have this one. I wanted to show this guy again here, a little bit of this guy. Oops, see, I don't know why my computer. There we go.
Chaksu militam jena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Sva Padantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Go Bhaktirinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my very dearmost friend. We say in Old English, bosom buddy, Tukaram Prabhu, for once again inviting me to this wonderful festival of Panihati. I have many nice memories of participating in this event over the years, and somehow I get invited back every year. And I'm also happy to be in the association of such an august assembly of devotees who I was observing are relishing kirtan. They're actually relishing. There's some namruchi here. Rupa Goswami encourages us to, as quickly as possible, develop taste for the holy names. Kali Kali Nam Rup, Krishna Avatar.
Okay, so you bring up a good point. Discussing how they make you think he was a pure devotee, like what does that even mean? So that's something that I've been mentioning for a while now as well. What does that mean? What does that mean? And what do they do? What does this guy do? Whoops. See, I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's see. What does this guy do? Why is he His Holiness Indrayumna Swami? What does he do for people? Seriously, what does he do? That's what I was asking. That's what I asked the Gaurahari disciple. What does he do? She said, "Oh, he gives me the kingdom of God. He's taking me to the kingdom of God. He gives me the kingdom of God." I said, "Really? You think you're in the kingdom of God? And he took you there? You really believe that?" This guy too. Whoops. I don't know. Let's see. This guy too. He thinks he's giving people the kingdom of God, or taking them to the kingdom of God, or giving them love of God, giving them something that makes him special. But what is it? What is it that he's doing? Because he chants on these beads. That's all he does. He chants on these beads, and he reads these books, and he tells these stories. He sits on a fancy chair. Oops. He sits on a fancy wooden chair. And then just talks a bunch of nonsense. Imaginary stories. He's made up fantasy stories.
Why? Because in the age of Kali, Kaviraj Goswami describes Kali Kali Nam Rup, that the avatar for this age, of course, is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he's stressing the holy name in this verse. The avatar.
Okay, so the holy name, Lord Chaitanya. Okay, what does that do? How does it do anything for anybody? And the Hare Krishnas out there, don't tell me about transcendental bliss and transcendental knowledge, because I was in the Hare Krishnas for 20 years, so I don't need to hear all that bullshit, because that doesn't do anything. That's any more than Taylor Swift going to a Taylor Swift concert does anything. The only thing it does, makes me happy while I'm doing it. I'm at a Taylor Swift concert, or I'm listening to a Led Zeppelin album, or I'm whatever it is, bowling. It is a bowling. The enjoyment that people can get from when they go bowling, if they really enjoy bowling and they love it, they got their own ball, their own shoes, their own bowling ball bag, and they're on a team, a league team, and they win trophies or whatever, and they just really get into it and they enjoy it. One of the best things that they do is go and they bowl on their team, and they're enjoying it just as much as this guy is sitting on his little wooden chair and talking into his microphone and being guru. In fact, they probably
for this age,
enjoy
Srinam,
being
Prabhu. When we say Prabhu, we mean person.
They probably enjoy bowling more than he does because he's faking it. Someone who's going and bowling, someone who's bowling on a league and they're enjoying themselves bowling, they're having a good time. They're doing something for real. They're actually doing something. This guy, and they're doing something for real. They're bowling. They're not pretending that there's somebody they're not. They're not pretending to be this Superman or this holy healer guy or whatever. They're just going and having fun, having a few beers, having bowling, bowl a few frames, tell a few jokes, tell a few stories, maybe have a burger, and have a great friggin' time bowling. And they're not cheating anybody. They're not ripping anybody off. They're not pretending to be somebody they're not. They're not promoting child molesters. They're not promoting its insidious philosophy that women like to be raped and that black people are ugly and belong in the jails and homophobia. Homos came out of Lord Brahma's ass and all this other bullshit. As if that's not bad enough. They're just bowling and having a great time. They're not hurting anybody. This guy, on the other hand. Oops. Back over there again. This guy, on the other hand, is hurting everybody he comes in contact with because he's a fake and a phony. He's not giving anybody anything. He's taking from them everything he can, money, gifts, all that, them worshiping him, cooking him lunch, buying him train tickets and plane tickets to Poland and hotel rooms and washing his clothes and all of that shit so he can sit there and tell stories.
And Krishna, Namachintamani Krishnas, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, he's fully present in the sound of his name.
He's fully present in the sound of his name. What does that mean? And what does that do for me? It's just a bunch of talk. It's emperor's new clothes. Because if everything that he's lecturing about and it was real,
Prabhupada said,
and Krishna was in his name and he was present when you're chanting, these guys wouldn't fall down. 83-year-old gurus wouldn't fall down. This guy wouldn't be putting his hands all over little girls. This guy would not be putting his hands all over little girls. How can he sit there and talk about the holy name and Lord Chaitanya and all of this, and then he sits there and gropes and rubs and just fondles little 8, 9, 10-year-old girls? Look at this guy. He's disgusting.
chant Hare Krishna and your life will be sublime. Somewhere along the line, somebody changed it to be happy. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. But Prabhupada actually said, chant Hare Krishna, your life will be sublime. Happy is nice, but sublimity is something very internal. Some shantushti, you become fully satisfied because you're reconnected with your Heavenly Father. You're reconnected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
It's such It's such a bunch of bullshit. It's such a bunch of bullshit. They don't really stress meditation or discuss the mind. It's all just fast repetition. I guess all that would do would make you zone out. I have to agree with you. I have to agree that it does, out of everything that it does just kind of numb your mind and make you kind of just zone out. I mean, as much as you zone out doing anything, if you go to the gym and you're exercising and you're working out for an hour or so, 45 minutes to an hour, and you're working out and you're concentrating on working out, and you kind of zone out. I mean, you're concentrating on what you're doing, but you kind of zone out to what's going on around you. You're kind of in the zone, as they say, right? People say, I was in the zone, because you are. You're kind of like and so it's kind of like that. You're chanting, and it's basically, well, for me, when I was chanting, I was just chanting to get them done, so I could say I did them and I'm done. No, this guy hasn't fallen down yet. I mean, it depends on what you want to call falling down. I mean, the guy who hangs out with little girls, there's videos of him where he's just, come on. He's got these little girls, 8, 9-year-old girls, and he's just like all over them, like just rubbing them and fondling them. And it's just so creepy. It's so creepy, this guy. And he's known to be hanging out with all these little girls in bikinis and running around with little girls, and he plays it off like he's grandpa, like he's grandpa. And these are the grandkids, and they come in, and he, oh, hi kids, but he ain't fooling me. He's not fooling a lot of people. There's a lot of people that think the guy's creepy. It's not just me. It's not just me. There's a lot of people think the guy's creepy. So, and that's why there's videos, and there's all this stuff about him, because he's got this reputation, and it's the guy's disgusting. The guy's disgusting. This man is loving his Guru Puja. He's getting fed food, getting fed good food, feet washed, women worshipped. LOL, no wonder he is glowing from ecstatic symptoms. He's always surrounded by women, like pretty women, he's always got groups of women and little girls and kids, little girls though. He likes the little girls, and he likes rubbing on them and touching them, and just, he's very touchy-feely. He's like very touchy-feely with the little girls. So that's just you can do. So yeah, he's this guy's just he's a real creep, and I wanted to show this guy. But as far as falling down, I don't know that he's fallen down yet. But how are you a Hare Krishna Swami guru like this guy, and then you are just hanging around with all these little girls? It just doesn't make sense. It's just, anybody can see that. If he was anybody but a Swami, even Michael Jackson is going, hey man, you're hanging around little kids too much. Okay, that's how bad this guy is. He's like, Michael Jackson is like, I would never do that. The guy, because this guy's a Swami. He's preaching against this stuff. He preaches against relationships. He preaches against marriage, because I don't believe, that you shouldn't get involved with women. Men shouldn't get involved with women. Only if you can't handle it. If you can't handle it being a single man, then you can get married and you can go have sex, and then you can get your wife a child, and then you can leave her. That's what Prabhupada says. So these guys, they don't do, that's what they believe. It's the same thing they believe. They believe everything Prabhupada believes. So he doesn't believe, he hasn't even ever had a loving relationship with a woman. How can you call yourself a man if you haven't had a loving relationship with a woman? And I mean, like a relationship, you got to get to know the woman, right? It's got to be at least a year long, right? You got to have ups and downs. You got to go through the whole thing. You got to create an attachment, a desire to be with someone, a desire to stay with someone. You have to feel the emotions that come along with being in love with someone. He's going to sit up there and preach about love of God and loving feelings and emotions and these type of things when he's never felt love. He's never felt an attachment towards a woman. He's never been in a relationship with a woman. How does he know what it's like to have a girlfriend or a wife who loves you and makes you lunch when you go off to work, and then you go off to work and you don't see each other all day and you come home, and then she's there and you come home and you have dinner, and then maybe you go out to a movie or you go do something, and you have loving relationships and loving feelings between the two people. He's never done anything like that. He's never bought a gift for a woman like flowers or taken a woman out on a date or met her parents or done anything like that. Celebrated an anniversary or Christmas morning with your loved one or a holiday with your loved one, or so many human things that we go through life and do with a partner and a loved one or a child, having a child. It can be, you don't have to have a child, but people have a child. The love that a parent and a child, the child loves the parent and all these different ways of having loving feelings, expressing yourself emotionally, growing as a person, not just thinking of yourself, but thinking of other people in a loving way I love this person. I would never do anything to harm this person. I don't want to break their heart. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to do anything like I just want to, because I love them. He's never felt like that. He's been a guru for 40 friggin' years. Joined when he was like 18 or something. What relationships he ever been in? What does he know about falling in love? What does he know about loving feelings and loving emotions? What does he know about that? What does he know about making a woman happy, celebrating her birthday and anniversary, or her celebrating his? Or having a woman run up to him and giving him a big hug and kissing his neck and saying, "Oh, honey, I missed you. You've been away. You were away all day, and I couldn't wait for you to come home. And, I did whatever." He's never had anything like that. He's never had anything. He's never had anything like that. Do you know if his son is in the cult? I'm surprised. Prabhupada's son? Prabhupada's son, they sued Prabhupada's son. First of all, I saw Prabhupada's son when I was my first time in Vrindavan. He was at the Vrindavan temple, and we were walking in. He was walking out, and there was all this commotion, and people were like, "Ah!" And he looked just like Prabhupada. He looked like a young version of Prabhupada, because pictures of Prabhupada, he's old, and this guy looked like Prabhupada, but he was young. He was like young. He was like in his 50s or something. He was like in his 50s. Or 60s, maybe, I don't know, 50s or 60s. I was in my 30s. He must have been in his 50s, 60s. But he looked just like Prabhupada, and he walked right by us, and I was like, who's that guy? And then my friend goes, oh, that's Prabhupada's son. And I was like, oh yeah, he does look like Prabhupada. He sued ISKCON. He's like, hey, this is my dad's. He's like, this is my dad's thing. I'm his son. I'm the son. Where's my? My dad did this. Where's my inheritance? My dad created this multi-million-dollar cult with properties all over the world, and money and all this stuff. Where's my inheritance? So he sued him, and he got something. They gave him something. ISKCON gave him something. I don't know what they did. I don't know exactly what happened, but I know he sued him and he got something. So I don't know. I don't know if he's. I don't know. I think he's. I don't know. Because it's all fake. They claim Narayan Maharaj helped ISKCON win lawsuit between Prabhupada and his son. Oh, so ISKCON won. I think they settled. I think he got something. Let me see. The son was suing ISKCON so he could take over it. There's a book on that. I read it. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think when I saw him in Vrindavan, I don't think he had sued yet. I think he didn't sue until a few years later. I don't think he sued until, when I saw him was in '96. I don't think he sued until later, but I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I'm not sure. But when we saw him in Vrindavan that time, and we were all like, "Oh, that was Prabhupada," and everybody was like, all this whole this buzz around that was Prabhupada's son. Just walked by, and nobody mentioned anything about him suing ISKCON. There was no talk of that. So it might not have happened yet. He might not have sued him yet. But again, I don't know. Same business sense as his father. Failure. A big failure. Prabhupada's children were not devotees. They just wanted the money. Okay, so why weren't they devotees? Why wasn't his wife a devotee? Why wasn't Prabhupada's kids devotees? It was the late 90s. Yeah, so he hadn't sued him yet, but he was probably getting ready to. That's why he was in, that's probably why he was in Vrindavan checking out the temple. He was probably getting ready to do something. And we were like, oh, look, that's Prabhupada's son. Oh, and it looked like a young Prabhupada. You could totally tell that was Prabhupada's kid. And so, yeah, I think he settled with them. I mean, I think when you say ISKCON won, I think, I don't know. I didn't read the book, so I don't know the details. But I think he got something. I think he got some money or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, why weren't his kids devotees? Why wasn't his wife a devotee? How can you be a pure devotee and the woman that you married that's supposed to love you for the rest of your life, she don't love you, and your kids don't love you or don't follow you? I mean, usually, and usually kids in a family like Prabhupada's family, they love their father and they want to do what the father does. If the father is like a bicycle mechanic, then the kid's going to be a bicycle mechanic. If the father, you know, is a taxi driver, then the kid's going to be a taxi driver. If the father has a, you know, sells sugarcane juice, then the kids are probably going to sell sugarcane juice. I mean, that's usually that's the way it is. I mean, this is the way it is. The guy's got a shop and he sells cloth. Kid's gonna have that shop one day. So what are you saying here? Probably didn't raise devotees. He started his own path of preaching when he started ISKCON. So you bring up a point. Let's talk about that. Prabhupada didn't raise devotees, but if you read the book, if you read Prabhupada's Lilamrita, Prabhupada's Lilamrita, the big book about Prabhupada's life, they want you to think that Prabhupada was a devotee from the time he was born. That he was born in the temple of Radha. Krishna temple was right there. He built a Rath Yatra cart, and he was doing Rath Yatra when he was 5 years old, and he was all of this. They want you to think that then Prabhupada was a pure devotee. How are you a pure devotee, but you're not a pure devotee from birth? They want you to think that Prabhupada was a pure devotee from the time he was born, just like Lord Chaitanya was with the snake and the robber, and he sat on the guy's shoulders, and he did all these God type things because he was God. Even at a baby, he had the snake. He put the snake around his neck. The guy came to steal the jewels, and he put him on his shoulders, and he went through all those stories. It's like, because he's Krishna, he's God. So they have all these stories to prove that that these amazing things happened. So Prabhupada's the same thing. It's like, Prabhupada was a pure devotee. So, when he was little, he was worshiping Radha Krishna in the temple there where he was born. As a young age, he was already doing artik to the temple he was a little kid. And then he was doing Rath Yatra when he was little because his dad built a cart, so he was doing that. It's like, oh my God, Prabhupada, even, when Prabhupada was a little baby, he was doing this. And when he was 5, he was doing this. And then when he got older, he was, he must be he's this pure devotee. I was a pure devotee. Always. He was never, there's this famous quote where Prabhupada says, there was never a time when I didn't remember Krishna. Prabhupada was amazing. Prabhupada was simply amazing. So they want you to think that Prabhupada was this pure devotee from birth. Then how could he not have raised a devotee? How were his children not devotees? How was his wife not a devotee? If he was a pure devotee from birth, he's a pure devotee the whole time. He was always a pure devotee. And then he met Bhaktisiddhanta, and he was this blah, 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 blah. So then he was pure devotee. Then what happened with his wife? What happened with his children? But I understand what you're saying. You're saying, he didn't start the ISKCON thing until later. And he wrote the books, and he started ISKCON, and his kids were already grown by then. They were already like 10, 11, by the time he started the League of Devotees or whatever. No, if he raised those kids, they should have been raised like pure devotee. How come he didn't put them in Gurukula? He should have raised them like little devotee Vaikuntha children. I asked the same question to my fanatic sibling, and he claims pure devotees are not blood related. The man is so brainwashed he can't even know. I asked the same question to my fanatic sibling. He claims pure devotees are not blood related. Well, what about Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta? Weren't they blood related? Wasn't that his son? And they're both in the parampara. I mean, How does that make sense? How is Bhakti Siddhanta the son of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and they're both in the parampara, and they're blood related because he's the son? That makes no sense. I never heard about pure devotees that are blood related or not blood related. I just know that Bhakti Vinod Thakur's son is Bhakti Siddhanta. How's that happen? He probably resented him for gallivanting around the world instead of raising him. You know, he probably did resent. He probably did. He probably did. He probably resented him for abandoning his mom. You just left mom and went off with your books, with your hippies. You're running around with your hippies. See, and that's family separation, family desertion. You know, desert your family. He left his wife. That's why he told his disciples, "You can leave your wife." You know, I didn't like my wife. I didn't like her. If you don't like your wife and you want to go leave, that's fine with me, because you know I didn't like my wife either. So don't worry about it. No big deal. You can't be faithful when you don't love your wife. Hey, no big deal. It's not like loving your wife is a big deal, and you know, maybe you shouldn't have got married if you didn't want to be married, or maybe you should work at your marriage if you want to have a successful marriage. You gotta. Prabhupada was no marriage counselor. He was no therapist. He had no business marrying these people. Oh, you're married. That's like probably putting these kids in the school. He had no business putting these kids in a boarding school. It wasn't no boarding school. It was a house, and somebody gave him in Dallas, and he said, "Oh, great, I'll turn that into a school. We'll put you and you go be teachers." What the fuck? And then you want to get pissed off at me because I'm telling people that Prabhupada was a failure? It's just bullshit. He had no business marrying these people. He had no business putting these kids in school. He had no business doing any of this bullshit. He's the reason why all these lives are ruined. Little kids getting raped and beaten. Guys getting up with bullets in their head and all kinds of bullshit because of Prabhupada and his fucked up teachings. Yeah. The fuck? Pure BS. Pure fucking BS, man. As pure as it gets. This Indra Yumna Swami and little girls and like that is so fucking creepy. If it was anybody but this guy, they would say, "What the hell is this guy doing with these little kids? What's Grandpa doing with all these little kids running around that aren't his?" If they're your kids, if you're grandpa and they're your grandkids, okay, they can sit on your lap and you can pat them on the head and, you know, give them a back rub or something. Your grandpa and those are your grandkids, although get too touchy-feely, Gramps, I don't know. But if they're your kids, at least you got an excuse that they're my grandkids. Okay? I changed their diaper. She can sit on my lap. It's okay. I'm grandpa. That's okay. This guy's not even a grandpa. He's just some guy. To these little kids, to these little girls, 8, 9-year-old girls, this is some guy. They don't know who this guy is. And the mom is like, go stand over there next to the Guru Dev so I can take your picture. And the little kid's like, I don't want to stand next to Guru Dev. Go stand next to Guru Dev and smile, or I'll smack you when you get home. I don't want to stand next to Guru Dave. He's always touching me. That's what we're talking about. That's what this guy does. Whoops, sorry. Once again, that's what this guy does. He's notorious for it. And then he's going to sit there and talk about love and loving Krishna and loving God and loving. He doesn't know the first thing about love. He doesn't know anything about love. He's never experienced it. No one's ever loved him. Not in a real loving way. Sure, they're like, oh, Guru Dev, I love you, Guru Dev, but they don't mean love in a way that they really mean. They mean love like, yeah, you're my grandpa. The same way that you love your grandpa. Yeah, I love my grandpa too, but not like I love my grandpa. It's like I didn't have loving exchanges with my grandpa. I didn't have like deep and loving. No, it's grandpa. Yeah, I love you, grandpa. Give me, okay, bye. You know, that's grandpa. This guy is, he's never had loving feelings for anyone other than this imaginary Krishna and Prabhupada. I mean, the most loving feelings he has is when he offers flowers to Prabhupada's feet when he has Guru Puja. Oh, I love my Guru Dev Prabhupada, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I never did that. I'm sorry. I got to be honest. I never cried over Prabhupada. I never, there were times when I had a lot of fun in Kirtan and had a lot of fun in Vrindavan at the temple, jumping up and down and chanting Hare Krishna. There were times when I'm not going to say it was like ecstatic transcendental bliss, but I mean, it was fun. I had a good time. It was fun. Just like you have fun doing anything. You can go to a Dodger game and have fun. You can go to a NASCAR race and have fun. You can go bowling and have fun. You can go surfing and have fun. There's no difference. Sure, you can have fun at the Hare Krishna temple, but is it a loving experience, loving exchanges, and just transcendental bliss and ecstatic emotions? And no, it's none of that. That's all just a bunch of bullshit. The truth will hurt these dumb fanatics, but it is what it, yeah. The truth does hurt. Believe me, when I left and I had to face the truth that this was a cult and I had to leave it, it was a hard reality. It was a hard rain's gonna fall. It was. Probably was the worst thing to happen to the West, along with Jim Jones. In fact, Jim Jones wasn't even as bad. Well, that's a good debate. Prabhupada's definitely fucked up a lot of people. Jim Jones, he wiped out like 880 people like in one day. So that's pretty astronomical for one day. Prabhupada, he's harmed a lot of children, a lot of women, a lot of people, so many that I believe that he's right up there. He's right up there. He's right up there with Jim Jones. He's right up there with Jim Jones, definitely. Oh, they're loving indeed. Yeah, it's. I think when loving feelings get creepy, it's no longer love anymore. It's just creep. It's this creepy factor. There's too much creepy. Like, a guy who takes a girl out on a date and he's really infatuated with her, and he was like, oh, I really want this girl. I really like her. I really want her. I would love to get this girl. And then there's a line. There's a line where it becomes this total creep factor, where it's like, oh, I want her. I'm going to put something in her drink, or I'm going to do something it becomes creepy, and so that's where this Swami is. You know, that's where this Swami is. He's oh, I can't get I can't get this thing. I don't know what's wrong with my computer. He's crossed into the creepy zone, where everything he does is just because of all his past, the knowledge of what he's done in the past, as far as little girls and on the beach with a camera and with little girls in bikinis and just so much stuff, that now he's known as the creepy Swami. He's just a touchy-feely creepy guy, and he's just another scammer. And I wouldn't be surprised if he falls down sooner or later. Something's going to happen. He's going to get caught with a disciple, or he's going to get caught with a child, or he's going to touch a little girl, and then she's going to tell, and she's going to say, you know, he put his hand in my panties or something. And that'll blow the lid off, and then it'll be like a cover up. I mean, it's what happens. I mean, I mean, I don't want it to happen, but this is what happens to these guys. This is what happens. And this guy's got, I mean, I don't know how you live a life like he has, with surrounding yourself with little girls and the creep factor being like off the charts, and then and just steady off the charts, just holding steady for decades. For decades, he's holding steady at the creep factor at 10. And you're like, how can you stay at 10 for decades? It's like you got the switch has to flip at some point. The switch has to flip at some point, and he's got to do. I mean, you can't walk the wire forever. Unless, and this is my theory, is that like stuff happens and doesn't get reported. It just doesn't get reported. And maybe one day the little girl's got to grow up and go, you know what? Yeah, he did put his hand on my butt, and I was too embarrassed to say anything. So maybe one day these little girls that are like 8 or 9 years old now, in 10 years they'll be 18, 19. Maybe they'll speak out and they'll say, yeah, they'll blow the whistle on this guy. We don't know. I would put money on that happening maybe one day. Look, if I had the cash, I would probably put a few dollars on that. I think that's a pretty good bet. I think that's a pretty good bet that one day one of these girls is going to grow up and say, hey, you know, he was touching me. You know, he really was, but I was too afraid to say anything. I take that bet on this guy. This is embarrassing, but after Kirtan one Sunday, a random visitor from Australia filled up my arm while I was leaving. He also gave the lecture that day. That's after Kirtan one Sunday, a random visitor. Was he was a random Hare Krishna visitor? He had to have been a Hare Krishna because he gave the lecture that day. That's what I was like. He's a random visitor, but he gave the lecture. So he was just a random Hare Krishna who just happened to show up, like my friend Radhakun. He was just like some guy who would go and sit, and he like, is that what you mean? Like he was random to that temple, and he felt up your arm. That's wow. Yeah, I didn't know. I never. It was weird. Kind of threw me off. Yeah, you know, that's the cult medicine you get in. That's the medicine you get in this cult. If you know, you know. That's what they do. Okay, so when I first started hanging out at the Hare Krishna temple in LA, and Bhagavad Gita, it talks about homosexuality and it's demoniac, and Prabhupada puts it down and says, homosex is bad and all this stuff. So I'm at the LA Hare Krishna temple, maybe couple 6 months maybe, and all of a sudden I see this guru come out, and it's Rohini Kumar Swami. I think it was Rohini Kumar Swami. He comes running out, and he is just as gay as it can be. I mean, he's I'm not an expert on homosexuality, and I'm not gay, and I don't have a ton of gay friends, but I live in LA. I lived in LA, and it's like, I'm not like a hermit or anything, so I know homosexuals exist. I went to school with some, I grew up, I've worked with some, and that sounds so weird. But so when I'm at the LA temple and this guru comes running across the street, and he's in his dhoti, and he's got his stick, and he comes running across the street, and he's like, and I just looked at this guy, and I was like, he's gay, but I mean, it was so obvious that he is gay. Like, he's not trying to hide it or anything. He's not trying to hide it that he's gay. And he, sashays across, and then he went in, he gave a lecture, and he came back out, and he was talking. And the guy he's a nice guy, just like my friend Jog Jivan. He was just like Jog Jivan, and Jog Jivan was gay too. They were like two peas in a pod. The same mannerisms, the same gay, just the way he carried himself. It was just very gay. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way or in a bad way or an insulting way. I'm just saying in a lifestyle way. Like he just gave off gay vibes, like just a ton. He did. He slayed and sashayed. Absolutely. He would take his little thing and he'd throw it over his shoulder, and it was, and I would see, and I was just shocked. I was like, well, I don't understand. Like, he's obviously gay, and Prabhupada says no, and so that threw me. And then I met this guy Jog Jivan, and he was obviously gay, and there were a couple other guys that I met that were gay. And I don't remember, off the top of my head, I can't think of who they were, but they were gay. So it just threw me, like, how do you have gay gurus in a organization that says homosexuality is wrong and bad and evil and demonic? It didn't make sense to me. Prema Pradeep at Radhakunj, India. He's a servant of Premananda Prabhu. He likes to seduce women and then report them to the temple authorities when he gets caught. A true disciple of Narayan. Yeah, women are so mistreated in this cult that it's like women are mistreated already around the world, and this cult really mistreats women. It just really mistreats women. They don't give a shit about women at all. And it's just Prem Pradeep Das from Badger. Badger, man, that's a place. It's like, I call it Breaking Badger because it's Breaking Badger. It's Breaking Badger. Perfect hub for gay predators. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what it is. I mean, I didn't think of either of these guys as being predators. Excuse me. I didn't think of either of these guys as being predators, but maybe some of them were, like Kirtanananda. and Jayatirtha and Rameshwar, underage girls, underage boys, Bhavananda. There's definitely enough of them, enough of predators. The Brahmacharya ashram, definitely a gay, perfect hub for gay predators. Absolutely. Let me see. I've seen it in Vrindavan. It seems a-okay to be gay, which confused me when the senior devotees were staunchly against. Right, exactly. That's. I didn't. It confused me too, because it's like we're reading in the books that homosexuality. I'm reading in the books that homosexuality is bad and wrong, and Prabhupada does not approve of it. And then I go to the temple that evening and I see this guy come. Woo, I'm guru, and I'm not, broke back badger. Yeah, breaking badger. So I remember the first time I went up there, I was shocked because I went up there. The first time I went up there, this Radhakunda, and he was living with this girl named. Her name was Hare Krishna Devi, and he was Radhakunda. He was Radhakunda Das. So he was living with this girl Hare Krishna Devi, and we went up there, and he was like, "Let's go score," and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna score." I was like, I thought we were on a Hare Krishna retreat, but like, yeah, okay, if we're gonna score, we're gonna score. I thought we were coming up here to be devotees, but yeah, let's go score. Let's go score. So we went to this trailer park, and we went to score some weed at this trailer park, and the guy, the devotee who lived in the trailer park, was like, "Oh man, the cops just came. The cops were just here, and they wanted to search my trailer. They wanted to search my trailer." And they were asking him. He was, because I heard the conversation. He's like, "Yeah, they were asking me why I got why I'm cooking all day, and what am I cooking all day? What am I cooking?" And he told him he was cooking prasadam. I'm cooking prasadam, and I'm cooking pies. And I'm cooking, he told me he was cooking pies and prasadam and something else. And he said, "I think they're on to me. I think they're going to come back with a warrant or something." And I said, and then we left. And I said, "Man, what kind of place is this Badger? Three Rivers Badger place?" Like, I was like, I had no idea. Yeah, I mean, I'd never heard of it. So what did I know? I'd never heard of it. There's a bunch of devotees that live up in Badger, and my friend's got a trailer, and we're gonna go up there, and we can come up for the weekend. And that was kind of like this: come up for the weekend to Badger. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay. I went up there, and it was like, like I said, it was like breaking Badger. So oh, wait a minute. What I missed one. Prema was abandoned by his father, the Gurukula president, at the age of 17 in India. He was dropped off at the ashram of predators. He's been a monk for 15 years, and now he's after women. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. The cult creates these people. This is just a normal kid. He's a normal kid, but the father put in the Gurukula, and he grows up. He's probably, a lot of kids got abused in the Gurukula, and then he grows up. He's messed up in the head. He's brainwashed. He got Stockholm syndrome, and now he's a predator. And now he's a predator. There you go. Perhaps that's why it's becoming an all-exclusive gay male ashram and temple activity. Yeah, that's interesting. Walter White Das. Yeah. Man, I was so surprised when when I found out that all that stuff was going on up there, and there was all kinds of stuff going on up there. I was really shocked. I had no idea. I had no idea the Hare Krishnas did that kind of thing. I mean, I didn't know. I didn't know. I had no idea. I had no idea. But now it makes sense because, man, those people had so much meth up there because they were making it right there. See, I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know at the time. It wasn't until a few years later then I found out that it wasn't until a few years later that I found out what was going on up there. But anyway, that's my thing for today. I wanted to share that with you with this Indra Yumna Swami. He is definitely someone you don't want to be around. And that the final thing that I want to say is that these festivals, when I say that these festivals attract these predators and you don't know who's there, these guys don't get reported. They don't get turned in when they're caught molesting kids or abusing kids. And they all go to these festivals. These festivals are happening all over the world this summer, North America, South America, Europe, all over. They have these big festivals. Guys like this show up. This little girl Swami. These other guys show up with like little boys or Rameshwar with little girls, young girls, and all of these old time predators are back in Mayapur now. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have come back. And they're like what would you call it? Like the old guard, right? They're like the legacy. They're like the Hall of Famers. They're the Hall of Famers now. Old Timers Day. Was it Premananda asked on YouTube or something with young boys? Yeah, there was something Premananda something. I mean, there's a lot of guys with that name, but I remember hearing something about these are all disciples and results of Narayan Maharaj preaching, all coming from Badger, New Raj Gurukula, full of, yeah, and but they weren't all Narayan Maharaj and Badger. There were a lot of ISKCON people up there too, and there was like they was all mixing up all together up there in those in those places, man. I'll have to do a show. I'm just gonna talk about Badger and what my adventures in Badger. I'll maybe that'll be my next one. We will tell their stories for others not get involved in this cult. Absolutely. So I want to thank everybody for joining me on this show. I can't believe it went by so fast. It's been 2 hours already, and it's so much. It's so enjoyable to know that I'm helping people. We're helping getting you guys out, helping people deal with people who are in, protecting people from getting messed up in this, and maybe some of you people that are watching, because my viewership is going way up. People that are watching and subscribing, Hare Krishnas that are watching, maybe you're learning something, you're learning the truth, and maybe you can see your way getting out of this. And so I want to thank everybody for watching, everybody for joining in the chats. Do share with us next time your adventures in Badger. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do a thing about Badger, because I believe there's still people up there, right? I don't think they're all. I think there's still devotees up there in Badger. I don't know. I went last time I was up there was like, I don't know when it was like 99 or 2000. So it's been like 25 years since I've been up there to Badger. But yeah, so I'll do that next time. I'll have to research a little bit. But thanks everybody. Really, thank you so much. Thanks for getting these viewers up, the views up, and the subscriptions up. It's really exciting to know that more and more people are watching these videos. It makes me want to do more and more because I know that more and more people are watching. So again, I want to thank everybody. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day, great night, great morning, great afternoon, a great evening. Have some great luck, and please stay out of a cult. And here's my closing credits. Here we go.